Howdy folks, you're watching Deuce, and today we're going to take a look at Olight's brand new flashlight here. It is the Valkyrie PL Pro. There's a close-up right there. Olight has been packing a ton of features, really cool features, into their weapon light lately, and the Valkyrie PL Pro has a ton of really cool features, all the latest stuff on there, at a pretty decent price. Full FTC disclosure, Olight sent this flashlight to me free of charge. I did not receive any other compensation, no money, no cash. Unlike some other YouTube reviewers, I received no incentives whatsoever except for, hey, would you like to test out this flashlight? We'll give it to you a week early before it launches, and if you like it, make a video of it. We don't care what you say. That's all they said. Please remember, this channel of mine, it's a hobby. It is not the way I pay my mortgage. I have a real job already. First of all, what do you get in the box? Well, it's a pretty little compact box here, so you don't really get that much with it, but you don't need that much either. You get the light itself, of course, and along with that light, you're going to get the battery because this is a sealed unit. There's no way to change out that battery. It's charged externally through the normal Olight charging cable, and because it uses that magnetic charging cable, it comes with one of those as well. Of course, it just clips right on perfectly. It's really cool technology that Olight is using there. You get two different rail mount options here, one for Glock, one for pretty much everything else, and that basically guarantees you a rattle-free install. Now, usually it comes pre-installed with the Glock mount already on there, and that's the one I use for everything because I'm not OCD about a slight little movement on a Picatinny rail. Now, if you're watching this video on or before Friday the 24th of May, just let you know that there is a flash sale going on for this light, including the really cool pressure mount that is right here, which I'll be talking about later on. But I want to tell you right now, there's going to be a link in the comment section below the video. Go ahead and check that out if you are interested in this. All right, moving on. What are the specs of this flashlight? Unlike most weapon lights, this has a high and low mode. So you click once. Actually, let me show you the buttons first. It has one button on each side of the weapon light. There's a close-up right there. And you can click one or either, it doesn't really matter. And there are some functions on here where you use both at once. I'll go over the functions later on. But high mode is 1500 lumens. Actually, there we go. High mode is 1500 lumens, and that lasts about a minute and a half, and then it gets too hot. After testing, I did find out that after about 10 minutes, it pretty much stabilizes at about 115, 114 degrees, which is roughly 44, 45 degrees Celsius. Now, once it gets heated up and it gets past that minute and a half mark and it stays on continuously, it's going to ramp down. It's going to slowly ramp down over the course of about a minute or half a minute or so to 600 lumens. So it goes from 1500 down to 600. And it'll stay there for about 45 minutes. And then at that point, there should be about 10% of battery left. It'll ramp down even further, down to 300 lumens. If you have it on high mode and that's just too much light, then you can double click when it's on and double click either side, doesn't really matter. And it'll drop down to low mode, which is 300 lumens, and that should last about 90 minutes. If you click both buttons at once, you're gonna get strobe light, of course, disco mode, right there. Up until now, I've been doing just a quick press, and that is the constant on option. But if you just hold down the button, you get the momentary. And that works for both high and low mode. The PL Pro has a lockout function, which is cool. Now, the lockout function, that is necessary because this is a sealed unit. And because it's a sealed unit, you don't have a battery to take out. Now, normally, if, let's say, here's my PL2 here, which is identical in size, by the way. If you're looking for a holster, if you decide to pick up a PL Pro and you want a holster for it, these are brand new in the market, so you're not going to find these being mentioned on holster manufacturers' websites. But the PL2 should work just fine because they are pretty much, as far as I can tell, they are identical in size and shape. But back to my original statement. Because this is a sealed unit, you cannot turn it off by taking out the batteries and be verified that it's not going to turn on in your baggage or in your luggage. So what they do is they have a lockout function where if you hold down one button for about half a second, and then hold down the second button, the light will turn off. And now you only have momentary, you don't have a constant on option, and when you do hold it down, it is only 100 lumens. Now, when I received this, it was already in lockout mode. It arrived in lockout mode, and I thought it was broken until I read the directions. I know, I had to read the directions. Now, to get it out of lockout mode, you just hold down both buttons at once, and it will go up in brightness, and then you're back in the game running. A lot of flashlight aficionados will be glad to see that this has a much warmer light than your average weapon light. So if you like flashlights and you like that warmer style flashlight, then you have a warmer style light in this weapons light on the PL Pro compared to most weapons light. Here's the Valkyrie PL2, which is, all intents and purposes, is the same thing, but this is just an upgraded version of that. And you see that's a much colder light. The PL2 has a much colder light than the PL Pro. And most flashlight aficionados will tell you that the warmer lights are easier on your eyes, and you can pick out things clearer and better and quicker. So a warmer light can be a safer light. The quick detach feature is very important to me as far as a weapons light goes, because sometimes you do need to illuminate your target. That makes sense. But sometimes you need to illuminate something that you don't want to point a pistol at. If you need to dress a wound in the dark, you don't want to point a pistol at your friend you're trying to save just so you can get some light on there. If you don't have your tools ready to go, you can't get a screw-on light off. But quick detach, no problem at all. Illuminate a bad guy or illuminate a good guy. You don't have to point your pistol where you don't need to. It takes about an hour and a half to charge a completely dead battery, of course using the proprietary included charging cable. Now, if you have already invested in the Olight universe of magnetic chargers, you can use the same charger from the Olight Seeker 2, which is there as well. So that works. You can use this one right here. Unfortunately, they're not all universal. The PL Mini, the Valkyrie PL Mini, uses a different cable for some reason. It pretends like it's going to go, but then it goes off center because it has a different magnetic pole on there. A really cool feature is the PL Pro is offered with a magnetic remote switch, which is really cool because it uses the proprietary charging port right there. I've got it on my high point here. There's of course video of it. So you can see here the rubber mount, it requires no tools and it slides right on and off the rail. And of course stays put. It stays put really, really well. It's kind of difficult to get on and off sometimes. But of course, once it's in place, you don't really need it to move. The magnet on the switch is way more powerful than the magnet on the charging cable. So I had no problem with it coming loose. It never did. It never even attempted to come loose. And if it did at least somewhat come loose, it'll just snap right back on because it's magnetic. I spent the entire day at a range recently. While I was doing a bunch of different projects, I went ahead and mounted the flashlight on pretty much everything I had out there. So I had it on a Glock, I had it on an AR-15, I had it on my AK-47, which in actuality is an AMD 65. And of course I put it on my Hi-Point 995. I had no issues with it turning on, turning off, going into strobe light unexpectedly, nothing at all. I had no issues whatsoever. Actually, I take that back. I did have one issue where I kept on pressing the pressure switch by accident, so placement is key on that. The instructions say that the PL Pro weighs 3.5 ounces. My old scale shows 3.6, close enough. It is quite a bit lighter than the Valkyrie PL2, but of course not as light as the very light PL Mini. It's also quite a bit bulkier than your average weapons light. You can see right here, let me mount it on my Glock here, you can see that it is much wider than my Fat Slide Glock 21, which is a big boy of Glocks here. So it is pretty bulky even compared to other weapons lights, but most of the weapons lights do not have the same number of features that the PL Pro does. Valkyrie weapons lights, while they are hardened against impact, drops, and water, they're not nearly as hardened against those as their normal handheld lights. So let's see, the Seeker 2 Pro, or right here, one of my favorite hardened lights, the M2T Warrior from Olight. I run over this thing with a deuce and a half. I would not run over my PL Pro or PL Mini or any of the Valkyrie series. I would not run over those with a vehicle because it just will not take that kind of punishment. It just won't. If you need that kind of punishment, if you need something that will take a barrel bending activity, then I would suggest the Olight MT2 Warrior. It's got the tail switch right there, And it's an inch barrel design there, so you can just use a normal scope mount and mount that on any rail you want. Priced at just under $100, this is by far not the cheapest weapons light out there, not by a long shot. But it's also not the most expensive by far either. It's pretty much right in the middle. And it has a ton of features. It's brighter than most weapon lights out there. It has more features, more options than most weapon lights out there. And it is at a cheaper end for the higher function lights. These features are the ones you're looking at. $100 is not outlandish of a price. It's more than I would like to spend, but it is not a crazy price for it. Well guys, if you want to stay on the Deuce and Guns channel, you can go ahead and click on one of these two videos right here, and you can keep on watching on the Deuce and Guns channel. If you have any comments, questions, or a show ideas, leave that in the comment box of the video. Remember, I will have a link to the flash sale tomorrow, and of course, there'll be sales going on in the future as well. I'll have a link in the comments box below the video. As always, thanks for watching, and you guys have a great day. See ya.